I used to spend 2 to 3 hours creating a single video script for a YouTube video, tweaking every word, trying to make it sound like me. And then I'd read it on camera and it sounded completely robotic. So I tried the complete opposite, no script at all. And what was supposed to be a 10-minute video ended up being 33 minutes of rambling about everything. But I recently discovered something that completely changed the way I make scripts and plan my videos. A simple AI workflow that takes me just 20 minutes to create a script that actually sounds like me when I film. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact system that I use to create scripts that actually work and don't take hours to make. Alright, so let's start with what my process used to be. I would use a tool called Subscriber to basically create my scripts for me, and it was amazing. It literally got 80% of the script done on the first try. But the problem was I would then end up spending 2 to 3 hours going through the first draft it created and tweaking every single word to make it sound like me and ready to read on camera, right? I would then read that script word for word while trying to maintain eye contact like I am now. But it was quite difficult because I was focusing on reading and talking at the same time. And that makes me sound more disconnected from the audience I'm trying to build a connection with, right? And there was the ADHD perfectionism trap. I would spend hours trying to create a perfectly worded script, which I could then read word for word on camera. And it wasn't authentic. It didn't sound like me, right? So then I went the complete opposite direction. No script at all. I thought, you know what? Everyone's talking about being authentic. Let's just turn on the camera, start talking, see where it goes. What was meant to be a 10-minute video genuinely ended up being a 35-minute video. It was more authentic and there was a better flow to it because I was talking more naturally, but there was a lot of rambling. There was no clear structure to the videos, and it was a complete nightmare for me in editing because I had to try and trim a 35-minute video down. It took a lot of brain power to do that. And honestly, the video still felt too long. A lot of the key points were lost in the chaos of the rambling. Then I tried another option, which I haven't actually used on camera yet. I tried using an AI tool called Gamma to create a presentation for me. So essentially, I would use the presentation slides as a visual element to show to you guys on camera, and also actually using it as a guide for the key points that I needed to make. The problem with this was that it just added completely unnecessary complexity to my workflow. I was trying to focus on filming, talking naturally, and making sure I was on the right slide. The real problem here is that traditional script writing does not work for ADHD brains. Reading a script removes any authentic connection that we could possibly build on camera. But having no script leads to executive dysfunction, and we end up rambling about anything and everything. So I needed to find something in between. I needed structure without reading everything word for word. And it did take me a while to kind of figure this out. I've actually put together a free Notion template with ADHD friendly AI prompts that help you script your videos without all of the overwhelm. It's completely free. Links down below if you're interested. All right, so what I'm about to show you is the exact process I'm using as of right now for this video and my past few videos. It takes me 15 to 20 minutes total. There are 3 tools. There are 3 steps. That is pretty much it. The first step is doing deep research with Perplexity. For those of you that don't know, Perplexity is one of the most accurate AI tools for data and research. Genuinely, it is amazing. What I've done is created a dedicated space in Perplexity. So think of it like a custom GPT in ChatGPT. Give it the video title and the topic, and I give it as much context on the video idea as I can. I then ask it to do deep research on all of the data and facts that I could possibly need for said video, and it literally takes less than 5 minutes. It scours the whole internet. It has access to real-time data. It literally goes through hundreds of sources and gives me all of the research that I need, and I can literally just download it as a PDF. So essentially, Perplexity becomes my external memory. There's no need to keep all the facts up here. I can just focus on creating the content. And like I said, literally takes less than 5 minutes. And that brings me on to step 2, Claude, my favorite AI tool. So I've done a similar thing in Claude where I've created a dedicated space or project, as they're known in Claude, for content creation and specifically for creating my script outlines for me. By the way, it's completely free to create a space in Perplexity and a project in Claude, so you don't need to be using the pay plans for this process. I will upload all of the research from Perplexity and any relevant documents into the Claude project. For example, I have a document which contains my entire journey with YouTube. I've created documents about a lot of the context that's happened in my life, so it makes it easier for me when doing things like this. I will then ask Claude to create a structured outline with specific components that I can easily follow while making a video like this. So I've asked Claude to include a written word-for-word hook, because obviously the hook is quite important to the video. All of the main points and sub points, strategically placed call to actions in my videos. So for example, the free Notion template, email newsletter, etc. A conclusion with a content loop linking to another one of my videos, and exit criteria for each section of my script outline. This is super important. I've mentioned it in a previous video, but essentially it's the criteria I follow. So when I've made a certain point, I know I can just move on to the next point, which I'm going to do now. And that brings me on to the third and final step of this fairly simple process, which is using a timer. So I use Brain FM. For those of you that don't know, it's a tool designed specifically to help with ADHD and neurodivergent brains, essentially focus music for ADHD brains. So I will use Perplexity to do the deep research. I will then use Claude to create my script outline. I will then manually review and tweak the script outline, but this is where Brain FM comes in. I set a 15-minute timer in Brain FM and I try to stick as closely to that as possible for going through and tweaking the script outline, because again, I don't want it to end up like it did where I was writing word for word scripts, which took me 2 to 3 hours. It just takes way too long. So I will set the timer. I will go through the script outline. I will add any personal examples of stories where I feel those are relevant. I'll tweak anything that just doesn't feel like me, like I wouldn't say that in a video. And that is pretty much it. But the timer is really important. The reason the timer matters so much for ADHD brains is we want to focus on progress over perfection, right? So without the timer, quick tweaks become like a 2-hour focus session trying to redo the entire script outline. The outline doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be done, because good enough beats perfect every single time. And this has actually caused like a mindset shift for me. So I used to be thinking, oh, this needs to be perfect before I film. I need every single word to be perfect. Now I'm a bit more relaxed, and I will say this outline will guide me. It will not control me. I will make the video as I want to make the video, but I will use a script outline to help guide me. Remember, the magic happens on camera, not in the script. So let's take a look at the results of doing this for the past few weeks. So before, I used to spend literally 2 to 3 hours per video script, going through everything, tweaking everything word for word. Now it literally takes me 15 to 20 minutes, maybe sometimes a bit longer if the video topic is going to be quite detailed. Before, I would just sound robotic, reading everything word for word, and there would be a very obvious disconnect from me and you guys. Now, hopefully, it feels a lot more natural, like me speaking to you guys on camera. And the reason this process works so well for people with ADHD is I'm essentially using AI as an external memory system, right? So AI tools hold the information, so my brain doesn't have to. I have a clear structure without having to read everything word for word and be perfect on camera. Filming is a lot easier because I now have guardrails I can follow. Editing is faster because my footage is more focused, and I can actually just be myself on camera and hopefully make good YouTube videos that get the important points across and provide as much value as possible to you guys. And it also gives me more time in my personal life for, spending time with my son, going to the gym, watching anime, all the fun stuff I like to do. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this: done is better than perfect. I cannot stress that enough. Remember, your audience wants authenticity. They want to see you being you. They don't want some perfect version of you, which, probably doesn't exist. I've struggled with that a lot myself. And look, I know it might seem scary to film a video without some perfectly worded script. You have a certain level of comfort from that. I promise you, if you stop writing scripts word for word and just start using bullet points, outlines, a structure of some sort instead to allow yourself to be yourself on camera, it will make so much difference. Watching back some of my more recent videos, I can definitely notice the difference compared to some of my older videos where I scripted everything word for word. So just give it a try. If it really doesn't work for you, then, cool, you've given it a try. But I'm just saying this has made a massive difference for me, and hopefully that's coming across on camera to you guys too. And guys, don't forget that free AI toolkit I mentioned earlier. It's got 10 AI prompts specifically designed to help ADHD creators like you guys. Completely free, links down below in the description. But the main thing to take away here is the scripting system only works if you can actually show up more consistently. So watch this video next, which explains why ADHD creators burn out so quickly and how to avoid it.